Guys, hello. Hydrite is dumping. There are a lot of great stocks in the market, and I think this is one of them. But man, I don't know. I don't know. This doesn't make sense to me, and I know there's a saying where you can have a great company, but a company is not its stock. Stock does not necessarily reflect a company. And I've been in this guy since I didn't look at my numbers exactly, but my initial price point was around $1 maybe. And then I think I bought a little bit more on the way up here, a little bit more. And then I kind of just watched it ride up. And I was considering taking profits around this area. But around this time, I was able to see the projected earnings for the following year, which were massive. You know, 2025 earnings were shaping up to be about 40 million, not earnings, sorry, revenue. And that was the first year that they became profitable. Like they were, of course, losing money as a startup and a little guy for a while. And last year they became profitable for the first time, which is always a great sign. But yeah, no, I ended up buying more, I think, on this dip right here. I was able to get at the lower part, which I thought was pretty smart. Um, Not exactly at the low, but maybe in the 250s. And then I was pretty happy the next day. Um, I don't remember if I bought more here. I know I bought more here, and more recently I bought more right down here. Not a ton, but because I already have a pretty good position in this guy. But today it's breaking below $2, which it hasn't done for. It hasn't done that for. Where is this line we're looking at? Yeah, even like right here, maybe right there. This was actually, I would consider resistance. There was some selling pressure right here, another selling pressure right here, more right there. So like it was hitting off of this $2 range and just popping back up. So the fact that it's one of two things is going to happen. It's going to stay here and bounce back up, or it's going to break through that resistance and we're going to go 10-20% lower. I wouldn't say I'm worried. I'd say I'm kind of, nobody likes to see their stuff go down, but let's look at this for a second. Hydrite, as of right now, is a market cap of 116 million. Their revenue, it says, is 17 million, but last year their revenue is they haven't reported it yet. They're going to report their first quarter or quarter four earnings in the start of May. And then there'll be more on the ball the rest of the year. But yeah, so last year their revenues are going to be about 40 million. Their market cap right now is 116, and their earnings was 1 cent a share. So when we take into account that, is that? There we go. So, well, let's look at these financials first. So in 2025, top line revenue is basically going to be 40 million, which is good. Their GAAP net income was 0.45 million. In 2026, though, their top line revenue is going to be going up by 275% to 150 million. I don't know why this thing keeps popping up, but and their earnings per share is going to go up, 3,000 whatever percent. Like this is a huge jump. This is a huge jump. The reason their earnings is going up much bigger than their revenue, as far as percentage wise, is because their infrastructure, their costs are already built in. So their operating expenses are basically flat. And yeah, their operating expenses are going to not be flat, but they're already kind of priced in. They got most of their infrastructure set up. They got most of their connections, licenses, research, all that stuff is basically done. So What's really going to be moving is the earnings. Like they're going to, as their revenue grows, their earnings are going to become more and more profitable. Sorry, that's pretty redundant. But this is kind of what surprises me. We're looking at a company that's making 30 cents a share by the end of the year, whose revenue is going to be surpassing their current market cap by what? $35 million? What is that, like 30%? This company's going to be making more money than it's worth right now. And this isn't some like, startup anymore. This company is slowly becoming, not slowly, it's as rapidly becoming a money machine. And I don't know, it's just kind of confusing. Like, I'm not saying this is the next Nvidia by any means, but when I look at the numbers, I mean, this is, if I saw this company today, I'd be like, all right, well, I'm going to buy 10,000 shares of this. I'm buying, a company that was priced at $4 when it was projecting for 40 million for the year. It's now worth $2, and it's projecting for 150 for this year. Like that's what this thing was. Like right around here, it's just like we are projected for 40 million. Boom. Now it's just like we are projected for 150 million. That is just insane. That's just insane. So, but where's this money coming from? So, their nurse and clinic network, that's gonna be 75 million. This is like this. This is not only going to be a lot of good money, but this is also something that's going to be ramping up and growing. They're probably going to be getting more and more licenses throughout the year. VSDH1, this is a little bit of a confusing thing to explain, but I don't know the best way to explain it. It's like it's almost like a Shopify arm. They basically help other company. This is their company first of all, so they provide prescriptions and advertising and the legal framework and legal background to their clients, to their customers, to their nurses, and but they also can, in a sense, outsource that resource to other companies, letting other companies, in a sense, use their medical proliferation and advertising and legal software for their own products, not just hydrides. And that's, this is the one that they're very excited about that should be growing more and more. A new thing they're doing, we mentioned this in the last video, STI testing, estimated $30 million for the year. 50,000 in pre-orders at care pathing, which means 50,000 not only tests for STIs, but the care path following it. This is fees off of nurses, fees off of doctors, fees off of consultations, and fees off of the medication and the care plan following it, as well as the testing. And this kind of thing, as I mentioned before, I think is going to grow more and more. This should grow more and more. This, which was the core business originally, will grow, but it's not going to be this isn't going to grow, I don't think, indefinitely. It's not going to displace everything, all the hospitals or anything, but I don't know. This is without adding any new services. This is a new service. So these are going to grow. This is going to grow. This is going to grow. They may add more services after this, making the company even more profitable. I don't know. Once you get the foundation of their technology, they're working on their own AI branch to kind of have AI streamline the process with a lot of these networks. once you get the baseline of this stuff built and you have the company built off the ground floor and your cash flow positive and you've got a lot of free cash flow coming in, it's a lot easier to make money. Like the first million's always the hardest, but once you get that and you get more and more, it's just you can make some good money. So anyway, I wanted to make this update because this is the first time I'd seen hydrite below $2, and um, yeah, I'm not trying to pump it, but I guess I'm trying to spread awareness because this company, as of right now, with the kind of growth and numbers they're putting up, their forward PE should be priced a lot more aggressively. We're looking at 2 to 3 times, which I would say it puts the company around $4 to $6. And if their income, if their earnings per share, I would say even if it just remains stable for the year and they start developing and their revenue goes up and their development costs go up just as they build and expand new businesses, this should be a five bagger for the year, easy. Now, I guess I'm not an expert in the stock market, so uh, maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I don't know. I watch a lot of little companies. I got like bag speculation. I've watched a few different things. I got some silver. I got some sex robots. I got the satellite with Saidu, very Hive, Rich Tech Robotics. A lot of the stuff you guys have probably seen on various things, whatnot. That I just like to watch and kind of see what they're doing, but also look at their numbers and whatnot. And some of them are pretty positive. I own some ons, and I got in at a pretty good price on these guys. And well, let's just compare. Let's just compare. Oh, where did you go? Let's look at Ondas. Okay, so Ondas is losing money. They're a $5 billion company with 24 million in trailing 12-month revenue. If I wasn't making so much money selling options on these guys, I would sell them because I'm up a good amount on them. But Hydrite is making a similar amount of money. Actually, and I don't know if this is exactly accurate because my numbers for Hydrite are higher, so maybe Ondas is, maybe stock analysis doesn't. Yeah, Ondas announces a 10 million strategic investment. I don't know exactly what that means. I haven't read this yet, but um, price target of 19, strong buy. Yeah, these guys were $1 a year ago. Hydrite was $1 a year ago. Hydrite is actually profitable. Hydrite is making money, has a stable business, and is growing quite well. Yeah, yeah. No, it's I don't know if Hydrite's getting lumped into the healthcare stuff with Oscar and that giant company where the CEO was killed. I forget what that was, but I mean, I follow a lot of small companies that started pretty low, and I look at their earnings, I look at their stuff. I'm sure people have followed Poet. They've been on the low end. They're in development. They're not making a ton of money, but if their technology becomes the blueprint for a lot of the AI stuff, these people will be massive. But they haven't yet, so it's speculative. Same thing with Navitas, which I actually have as a core position because it makes way too much sense. They're all right. Let's make a chip that can do. I don't know what I don't remember the number. We're talking like 100 or 1,000 times the decisions or the switches of a typical board or a semiconductor. 80% more efficient as far as electricity uses, creates 80% less heat. I mean, like that's pretty core position. But It's speculative because it hasn't been proven yet. It hasn't. They have Nvidia backing, which is why they're up here. But when I have Hydrite as a core position, and if I was to compare this company to Navitas, to Poet, to a lot of the other ones, I think the reason why it's lagging behind price-wise, it's starting a little bit of a recovery there. I mean, bounced off the 195, down, down, down. Bounced off the 195 again. So maybe that is the support right there. Maybe I should buy more today. Um, I think if this company had any of the exposure that a lot of these other companies had, like Ondas is huge in the news. It's posting. Uh, let's just check Hydrite. Where's the news? 3 hours ago. Huh. So Hydrite does have news articles about it, but where are they? I mean, it's been a month or so, but yeah, that's the thing. They don't come up with news articles very often. They don't pump themselves up. They don't list all the stuff that they're doing. So, huh. That's probably one of the things. They just don't. There's not in the news. They don't release a lot of data about themselves as far as what they're doing. The last thing that they did was the STI thing, and for some reason, let's see, news. A month ago, so this is a month ago, they initiated a 150 million guidance for 2026. Um, yeah, a month ago they had a lot of good news. They had like the 150 million outlook. They had the STI thing going on. They exceeded their product orders placed, surpassing their operational targets. I mean, like all their stuff is looking great. Like they're making all the right moves. Hmm. But like I say, like there's a little bit of a frustration because this is like my first major thing where I've been, like I said, I've been in a lot of stocks and I've made some good money on different things, but this is the one where it's just like, all right, I don't have a reputation, but I'm gonna stake it on this company, like based on their numbers, based on the moat and what they're building. These guys could be a billion, like multiple billion-dollar company in a year or two, and they're at about 100 million right now. We're looking at like a 2030 bagger in a year or two. But even if this company posts a profit of $10 billion next quarter, if nobody buys it, then it doesn't matter. like, well, I guess it does matter because if the stock literally just decided, all right, we're going to close down and sell off all of our assets, then the stocks would technically be worth tons of money because got a lot of cash coming in. But I don't know. Like I said, I've been comparing a lot of stocks for a long time, and some of them are more speculative, some of them don't make money. But man, yeah, this is interesting though because I look at this. Yeah, like this is like the 195. You got the 195, 195. That does look like it's hitting that support. I don't like to use support on uh, on a small cap stocks like this because there's not a lot of institutional ownership, or there isn't any. Then there isn't really big order blocks like that. But yeah, I guess we'll see. How long has this video been going on? No, 20 minutes. Wow. Yeah, no, I apologize for the. What I need to start doing is doing like a 1 minute overview at the beginning of something and be like, all right, here's the overview. Here's the numbers. Here's what I think it should be. Here's what we're looking at. Now I'm going to ramble for 19 minutes. and you can check out and turn things off if you'd like, because it's just going to be me complaining or blathering for 19 more minutes. So anyway, yeah, I just noticed that pattern myself about the 195 support. That's pretty clear. It goes back a long way. That might be an institution. Yeah, it's at $2 right now. Bounces off the 195. I'm seeing that right there. 185, 195, and then I look over here. You got the 195, 185, and then this is the uh, oh yeah, the 195 area where that's just getting bought up, bought up, bought up, and it's just hitting it here too. So maybe I need to write that down, or I need to put in. Yeah, we'll create an alert. Yeah, most of my money is sitting in stuff, so I don't have a lot of things to free up. But you know what? Maybe I should sell Ondas. That's what I'm going to do. I might go sell Ondas because even if the stock may go up a whole bunch more. Um, I've got some calls sold for $20 and $30 for June or July and December, and based on my like the current price, those will make 50% money if the stock doesn't get up to that point. So if the stock stays the same, that's a 50% gain. But I should probably just cash out of some of it, because if any stock is going to dump, it's going to be this one. It's going to be one of these stocks that are just, oh, I should probably make a separate video about this, and I may do that. But I've been watching Mara for a while, and I should have bought down here, but I just bought some right around here, around the $9 range. I know that this was a probably better place to do it, um, and I got an alert in case it dips back down. But Mara, I think, is going to be positioned very well. I need to do some more research and build up a presentation for it, but I may cover them because this is my next bigger position. These guys actually been covered by a few different other analysts, so I don't feel like I need to cover it, but um, this is one that I did move into pretty heavily recently. Go, go Palantir. All right, we'll chat later, guys.